Welcome to the next episode of KapVista Klips. Here with me, I have the team from Tipsnaps, Lyonel and Vic. How are you?
Hey guys.
Wonderful. How are you? Yes.
And of course, you all know Julia as well.
You're welcome. Hello, everyone.
Today, we're going to find out a bit about Tipsnaps, what they're doing, the space they're in, and how they got to here. And it's a quite incredible story. I've spoken to the guys before, but I really want you to hear it. So, let's start it off. What's your story? Tell us how you got to this point in time. What's your background and how you got to create Tipsnaps?
Sure. So Lionel Duge, founder, Dr. Vic Body, co-founder. Both of us kind of have traditional science and engineering backgrounds. I'm computer science. Vic's actually a microbiologist, working for Fortune 500 companies for many years, and also government. So Vic's got this kind of awesome background in policy and government. Working for companies like Sony Music or Viacom or Johnson & Johnson for several years, but always having the entrepreneurial bug. Vic and I are actually family friends. We've known each other for over a decade. So the kind of history of Tipsnaps is it's 2016, and I'm on my lunch break at Johnson & Johnson. During the day, I'm building johnsonsbaby.com or listerine.com or bandaid.com. But I just had this kind of epiphany while scrolling through Instagram that this is actually 2015, that there will be a premium paid version of social media very soon. That creators or at the time, influencer wasn't even a broadly accepted term, but influencers with 100,000 followers who are just regular people during the day, whether it's a fitness trainer or bartender or model or a musician who have 100,000 followers, could likely charge some of their fans and followers for content. Right? Like, why wouldn't somebody just pay them $10 a month to see like exclusive stuff that they don't post in? So that was like the epiphany. And so decided to just bootstrap, right? Like building nights and weekends. So I started building in 2016. We launched in March of 2017. Funny enough, this is only a couple months apart from OnlyFans. So of course, the world kind of comes to like these realizations at the same time. And these guys across the pond in the UK had the same idea, except they leaned heavily into adult. We always had like a really, really mainstream kind of brand and kind of perspective. But initially we launched a platform. It feels very much like Instagram or a social media platform. And you basically just are able to put a paywall in front of it, right? So if you want to see this content, you have to pay $10 a month, $20 a month. They could configure it to whatever they want. So anyways, literally started DMing people like, hey, you have 100,000 followers, you have 1 million followers. And from that, we saw a network effect, like from zero with no budget, bootstrapped, no VC funding. I have no background in understanding the venture world. I mean, we learned a lot, but we went from that to like around 100,000 users in 6 months and almost $500,000 of volume, gross marketplace volume. So we have creators with 1 million followers. Just, this literally changed your life. Like, it's like, yeah, I have 1 million followers, but I'm not really making money from them. I don't know how to land brand partnership deals. But my fans are willing to pay me $10 a month. And I just made $15,000 this month. So that's how it started. We saw kind of a maker network effect from big makers. Anyways, fast forward to 2020, Dr. Vic Body and me kind of start merging our minds, and Vic comes on as COO and co-founder. And he brings a whole nother kind of just perspective on the industry, but also like mission and initiative that is really kind of landing, because as the space is evolving, there's been obviously OnlyFans is a huge player. Even traditional incumbent social media platforms are looking to help creators monetize. But Vic brings in a whole new category, and we've merged on. I mean, we've always like melded our mind on business. But I'll let Vic speak to kind of where since he's come on, to kind of where we're going.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a really great intro, Lionel. Yeah, so essentially we have kind of a vision and a core credo or belief system, or kind of who we are as a company, is that everyone is a creator, and that there are these huge creator niches that are underserved and no one's talking to. And we kind of view the creator economy as something that's just not as a like kind of just a way to make money, but more so this is a way that you can change some systemic issues that we're seeing just globally as far as and for instance is like we view the creator economy as a way to like shift gender racial wealth gaps. We see it as a way to bring people out of poverty. We know that there are people that are on IG, they're on YouTube. I mean, they're funny. They have, hundreds of thousands of followers, but they're not monetizing. They don't know they can monetize. They're working regular day jobs. But if the realization happens where it clicks on that, hey, 1% of my fan base of 100,000 followers will follow me behind my subscription paywall. It's just like life changing from a wealth standpoint as far as the creativity. And right now, all that creativity is being given to incumbent social media platforms like IG, like YouTube, and they're just kind of sprinkling, bits and pieces of ad revenue back to these creators who are driving these platforms. We saw with the Black TikTok strike, it kind of bore out our thesis that there are underserved creators who aren't being uplifted on these platforms. The algorithm doesn't work to their advantage purposely. So our goal at Tipsnaps is pretty much the opposite, is that we understand that there's, these creator niches that no one's talking to, specifically like Black hair and beauty, $1 billion market here in the US. And for some reason, no one has recognized that, what we see, because we're just in the community, we're entrenched, we see it and we live it. So we can see these communities of people who are on YouTube putting out massive content, millions of watch hours, but they aren't monetizing. They're just kind of getting the scraps from what YouTube is giving them from an ad revenue, which is peanuts in comparison to what, if they took their content behind a Tipsnaps paywall, what they would make just with 1% of their following, which we've seen happen. So we kind of have this vision of bringing more equity into the creator economy and not allowing the creator economy to become just like any other institution that we see that's inequitable. So we have this kind of grand mission that, we want people to make money, but we also want to create a safe, equitable platform for any and every creator, regardless of your niche, regardless of your following. It doesn't matter if you have 100 followers, if you have 1,000 or 1,000,000, we're going to treat you the same at Tipsnaps, because we feel that you have some kind of creativity to give to the world that people want to see. So that's kind of our value system. And I think, I know long-term that this is something that will resonate, because it's resonating now just with, outreach that Lyonel, a founder-driven outreach. We don't have a formal marketing team because we haven't closed around yet. So in essence, it's just Lyonel and I reaching out to creators with this message, and it's resonating very well. We've seen massive uptake since with June, and maker and what we used to call them creator and fan registrations have shot up because of that message. It's resonating, and the interesting part is it's resonating throughout the community. Like, it's not just one niche. Like, you would think, certain NSFW, not safe for work creators wouldn't be impressed by that messaging, but they are impressed by that messaging. Other groups of creators are impressed by that messaging because it resonates to them, because it's something that they understand. Everybody wants to have this kind of equal playing field. So we're really excited about where we're going.
Wow, I knew the space. I didn't know it well, but you're right about there's a lot of people who have large followings who create really high quality, content that are just not seeing the opportunity to monetize that and connect with their fans. And I know, as a viewer myself, my interests have shifted away from, your traditional, free-to-air TV, your cable, your streaming services, and you want to watch other things. So I'll find myself looking through Netflix and saying, well, what's on? And half the time I just don't watch it. But then I'll pick up my phone and I'll find a clip that I like, that I think is funny or interesting, and then I want to watch another one, and then 2 hours later, and I've gone, down a rabbit hole, and I've watched, hours of content from someone who I didn't know existed, and it was just purely because I've found something there. So, for me, I'm already paying money for all these streaming services, I'm happy to pay for good quality content. So, that's I like the space that you're in. So tell us more about Tipsnaps. You've told us the story on how you've got here and how you found yourself in the platform, social media, content creating industry. How did the team come together? Is it just you two? Is there more people involved? What's that look like? And from if I put my consumer hat on, walk me through the solution. Help me understand it.
Sure. So team-wise, it's literally Vic and myself. We've hired a few kind of offshore contractors to support us with like support and kind of moderation. So that's like where we have to focus. But engineering-wise, like it's me, and we've actually started building out a small advisory board. We've been lucky. We met a gentleman named Aaron Pompel, and he's a executive at Nike for like 20 years, Harvard Business School graduate, helped like, he's working like M&As now. He just helped, I think, Reebok, and somebody acquired Reebok. I'm sorry, I forget exactly, but a company acquired Reebok. So Aaron's an awesome kind of advisor. We closed a small pre-seed round in January with the co-founders of Rackspace, so the hosting company Rackspace. So Pat Condon and Pat Matthews, the two angels there, and then also an additional angel, Daniel Pomp, who is he's a professor at UNC, and he owned and sold a company and made millions of dollars, and so now is an angel. So we have a small board, our angel investors, and now Aaron Pompel. But so that's kind of the team. It's Vic and myself, a couple people offshore supporting from a support standpoint. So that's the purpose of the round, right? We need to scale a team, engineering, but also marketing to go acquire these underserved niches that Vic kind of spoke to. So in terms of the product, so you literally could, as a creator, you sign up in a few seconds, right? So you go to tipsnaps.com, you register, it takes a few seconds, and you basically set your price. So anywhere from $3 to $50. Typically, we don't see anything past $50. We kind of want to avoid fraud and chargeback ratio or rate. So, but anywhere between there, you upload content. And basically, like, one of the misconceptions is that people feel like consumers aren't just coming to Tipsnaps like by themselves. They're coming to Tipsnaps through a specific creator. So our creator has their fan base where they have it, right? Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. That's their core, that's their base. But again, they're not monetizing there. And most of those platforms, not at all. So they're just like through link in bio, through their link, like their one link that they get the chance to kind of promote, or through like sharing on a story, like swipe up feature on Instagram, they drive their fans to Tipsnaps, right? So that's how we get like all of our traffic. And that's on the order of almost 80,000 unique users a month. So there's enough, high quality, high note of note creators on our platform that it drives 80,000 unique users a month to our site. So we also have other features, right? So the subscription transactions are most common, like average ticket price of around $10. But we also offer tipping, hey Vic, you're a hilarious comedian. Could you make a funny joke about my sister or something for her birthday? Like you could do that. You can make a specific request, but you can also do like paid private messaging. But now we built a feature for crowdfunding, which we think is we're first to market, and it's really unique in the space. And the beauty is, so as a fan right now in the creator economy, and so this is kind of like a sister product, but it's all within the same platform. That core product of Tipsnaps, where I'm a creator, I have followers, you subscribe for my content. That's what got us to all the metrics. We'll speak to it more, but basically 440,000 registered users, basically bootstrapped. Almost 500,000 registered users, almost bootstrapped. About 2.5 million paid out to creators. So that product, Tipsnaps, is what got us all of that kind of traction. But we just launched this new feature for crowdfunding called Tip Pools that we just launched in June. And what it is, imagine as a fan right now, I don't know, Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, we think, you're awesome, but we want to see you do a song. I don't know. We want to see you guys do a collaboration. There's no way to really make that happen as a fan, right? Like you could comment, you could, I don't know, post about it on Reddit or talk about it on social media. But what if you could just put money against it in a crowdfunding manner? What if all 5 of us on the call and 100,000 other people put $10 into a crowdfunding campaign for content? And that's what Tip Pools is. So it enables fans to request content and crowdfund for any creator for any content. And we think it's really revolutionary because, of course, the mega celebrities like Nicki Minaj's and Cardi B's, like they may ignore something like that, right? It's maybe worth if 100,000 people put $10 into a pot to see them do a song together, because they have in the US they have a beef, they hate each other. That would be interesting for the fans. But if that would be like TMZ newsworthy, but I don't know if they're going to do it. But what about all the TikTokers who have 500,000 followers on TikTok, but they're not making money, right? They don't want to do OnlyFans because that's associated to porn. And it's kind of like, I don't want to do that, but I do want to make money. I don't know how to land a brand partnership deal with Nike or something. So what if the 500,000 fans, what if you, even as a creator, you could say, hey, I could crowdfund for content. What do you guys want to see? It's almost like a dare. So anyways, we launched that feature. We're really excited about it. So from a product standpoint, and the one, sorry, go ahead, Vic.
No, I was going to say that, and as we were kind of discussing earlier, it's because we're kind of entrenched in the community, we understood that this was a need. It was less just like, oh, this is an idea. We saw it as a need. We saw that people were subscribing to creators at $20 a month, and they were like, man, this content, they didn't upload any assets, that we didn't see anything. We got nothing this month as far as content, and we paid $20 a month. This is a sucky experience. Right. So out of that kind of, because we've been doing it since 2017, out of those conversations, we learned really quickly, oh yeah, we need, so the Tip Pools pretty much flips the creator economy financial model on its head. Right now, all these platforms have this financial model that's pretty similar. It's a subscription-based service, paywall. It's like a race to the bottom as far as rates, and it's all fintech as far as the payment processing, which we are well ahead of most platforms as far as payment processing, just because we have years in. But it flips the creator economy on its head, because now it's like, well, the power isn't just in the hands of the creators to give you what they want to give you. You as a fan in the community can crowdfund whatever it is you want to see. So it just, this hasn't been seen yet in the creator economy. We know that once it kind of takes hold, once you have one major kind of celebrity or even a major TikToker do something and it's crowdfunding and it goes viral, this concept won't even be, it'll just be normal. It'll be like pay-per-view for anything, right? Because that's essentially what it is. It's pay-per-view for content, except, a boxer or whoever, Floyd Mayweather is not saying, I'm boxing this guy. We're telling Floyd Mayweather, we want to see you box this guy, right? It's a completely different ball game. So it's like the fans are requesting anything they want to see, and they putting their money behind it. So if the money's right, maybe a creator is like, I wasn't going to do that, but now I'm going to do it because the money's good. So we think this is revolutionary. No one's doing it.
Well, after yesterday, you could make the argument that Jake Paul should fight Ryan Garcia, because all over social media, that's the next fight. So maybe we should put it up there.
It's a great idea. We should.
Yeah, we should.
We will. It's a great one. Yeah, and everybody thinks his fights are rigged. So fight a real boxer who's young enough that he's not going to throw a fight. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's the next path. It has so many opportunities, so many different pathways it can take. I think this is really exciting.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, we are too. I mean, Vic came up with a really cool one for AOC. So in the US, AOC, Alexandra Cortez, or she's like the Democratic antithesis to Marjorie Greene. And so on social media, like politically, Republican versus Democrat, why don't you guys get together and debate around the Green New Deal? And I don't know, for $100,000, donate that money to charity, right? So like, because we want to see, or whatever, it could be political, it could be kind of salacious social media stuff, it could be sports. Vic had another cool one for Steph Curry do a 3-point contest against Ray Allen, like one of the best, you know, ex 3-point shooters. So, you know, just so many applications. So yeah, you're right.
Sports gaming. We were talking to one investor who's big in gaming, and we mentioned tip pools, and his mind was blown. He was just like, you know, this is crazy because you know, I game all the time, and there are 2 gamers that everyone wants to see go after it. And he said they want to see him go at it so bad, and every time that somebody mentions it, they get pissed off, like, we stop talking about it, we're not doing it. And he's like, but he thinks that would change if it was like $10,000 on the table. They would probably do it. Right. So it kind of it's like the biggest form of a dare in the creator economy. Like, if you let's do it then. Let's crowdfund and see if this person will do it. And I just think has so many different levels, from sports to entertainment to you name it. You can do it, anything, right?
Cool.
Absolutely.
Julia,
Are you there, Dan?
Did you want to jump in?
Yes, no, I kind of was a little bit curious to hear kind of about the market opportunity in general, kind of what excites you guys about the content creation space, as opposed to what it was, you know, from even 5 years ago to now to what the next 5 years might bring. Tell us a little bit about that and what you've kind of researched and where you think this could really grow to.
Sure. So between 2 companies, Patreon and OnlyFans, they're on par or on track to do about 20 billion in volume this year. Wow. Just so volume. And of course, each platform has a platform fee, whether it's about 15 to 20%. And then there's fees and operational costs within that. But just between 2 companies, the way we see Patreon and OnlyFans, I think everybody's pretty aligned with what they are. I know in recent times they're trying to like adjust their path, but they're kind of pigeonholed into a sector, which again, we're not discriminating or saying that's bad. We're just saying that is what it is. Patreon is very much for like expert YouTubers, kind of like the, you know, savvy video editing, kind of not, this is a bad word, but like really kind of technical. I don't want to say nerdy, but like techie kind of stuff. But our creators, this is what they have, right? This is all they have, but they have 100,000 followers. And they deserve to monetize. So, and there's tons of beautiful apps to help them do cool stuff on their phone. But our point is just 2 companies, about 20 bill. We see the creator economy as, and it's not just us, like there's a lot of good published kind of research and data on this. This year, it's around 30 billion. Further, like we know that like if you ask the average 6th grader what they want to be when they grow up, it's YouTuber, influencer. Right, like it's no longer doctor, lawyer, it's YouTuber, influencer. Yeah. So more are born every day. So to kind of say that the creator economy in 5 years isn't worth $50 billion, like that everybody who has a social media account with any, whether it's, as Vic said, 100 followers to 100 million followers, that all of them can't directly monetize content so that as a fan, you get a kind of sneak exclusive peek into their lives. It's very conservative to say it's about 50 billion. And I know it's a wild number, but okay, how about we just kind of take it down to like niches? So Vic alluded to Black Hair and Beauty. On YouTube, published data, I think last year, Black Hair and Beauty, the niche itself was over 1 billion watch hours. So just watch hours across maybe 50,000 accounts. Those 50,000 creators, all 50,000 of them don't have an OnlyFans. They don't have their own platform. And again, YouTube, as Vic said, it sprinkles like, you know, it's peanuts of the ad revenue versus like, I'm going to directly monetize at $20 a month for my hair routine or my makeup routine. They don't have their own platform home. So 50,000 creators with 1 billion watch hours, we think conservatively, that's a $500 million market if those creators could just monetize. And so that niche in itself, we're already attacking it just through our outreach via DM and just posting about uplifting creators who are underserved. We've already onboarded like notable ones with like 20,000 followers. Like, this is amazing. Like, there's 2 Black founders, which is pretty rare in the tech space. You know, 2 Black founders who bootstrapped, have all this traction. Like, the platform's awesome. Yeah, they just want to support us just, you know, off kind of principle. So imagine if we had a marketing team to kind of go out there, actually serve them properly, you know, have the right campaigns to kind of really appeal to them. So beyond, so black hair and beauty is one niche, but we also, there's other niches that we see underserved as well as comedians, completely underserved. You know, they're not really, you know, for them, they just feel like the best way they could monetize is to have like a show. You know, I'm gonna be in Hartford, Connecticut this weekend, guys. Buy some tickets to my show.
Right.
Sorry, Vic. I don't know if you want to jump in.
No, I was going to align, like, you know, we see them all there. We like, that's what Daniel, I think, was alluding to. You like, you turn on Netflix and you're about to watch Netflix. The Netflix show is running in the background and you're on your phone. You end up on your phone scrolling through social, and you're on IG, or my wife's on Facebook all the time, and she's looking at these comedians on Facebook, and they're just posting their content on Facebook, and you're like learning about all of these new comedians that you had no idea existed, and they're hilarious. And just to think, if that whole industry understood that they could monetize right now, they don't really have to do Facebook. They could use Facebook to drive people to Tipsnaps, and that's what we tell creators. So what we also see is a big education gap too. So part of our use of funds after we close the round would be to educate creators who aren't necessarily as savvy. They're savvy creators, but they're not savvy in how to monetize. We've already developed a bunch of tutorials, a bunch of videos to kind of explain, this is how you drive people from your IG to your Tipsnaps so you can make money, because we've seen it done. This is how they did it. They add 4 stories a week to their IG posts. They post 30-second to 1-minute clips, and then you drive people to Tipsnaps. So I'll let you finish, Lyonel, but that's a major component.
That was a key thing I wanted to bring up. And so yeah, that education's a factor, kind of the realization across these niches. Like the creators, oftentimes they associate a platform with the function, right? Like, and that's why they, like Black Hair and Beauty, don't have a home, because they haven't seen 5 of the biggest creators do it, you know? So NSFW, the adult creators, like they don't say I'm selling content. They say I'm doing OnlyFans, right? So we want to be that for hair and beauty, culinary, chefs. They're not doing this, which is pretty sad and incredible, and comedians. So we think across those 3 niches, there's at least it's 1.5 to $1 billion or $2 billion worth of just volume that these creators over the next 5 years are going to just each year be selling content worth. So we want to kind of capture that. And then that's not even considering tip pools. Imagine, Daniel,
if a Black hair and beauty artist, she does a makeup tutorial on a new makeup line, and she does it through a tip pool, and say, hey, do you want to see me, you want to see me do a tutorial on this X Rihanna Fenty makeup line, whatever, bang, she has a tip pool, because people want to see it. They want to understand how to use the products, right? And this helps brands as well. Like if they're already a brand ambassador, some are, this helps the brand. So, I mean, it's just multiple functions of tip pools. That's how we know for a fact that's going to go crazy once it happens.
For the Ryan Garcia, Jake Paul, like, is that at least $5 million of it? I mean, I don't know, especially if it's like, because those guys already have money. So I think fans would be a bit kind of like, you guys have tons of money, why am I? Because they pay it through pay-per-view. Like, it's not a direct, like, I see how much you made, even though those numbers come out. But imagine if it's like, well, it's going to go to charity. I mean, think about that. That could be at least a $5 million. And then as a platform, we have our fee, of course. So we think conservatively, there's several $1 billion for tip pools on an annual basis. If Patreon and OnlyFans are on par in 2021 to do 20 billion, tip pools is at least worth 1 billion. The concept, which is very conservative, right? So, and these are very kind of publicly available metrics. We do have sources that we could share back for anybody who's interested. We could kind of share where we're getting this data
with tip pools, and you say they might have. They might have money already, but it may not be about that. If they get 500,000 people saying that they want to see these 2 fighters, it gives a good indication of how many pay-per-views they're going to get. How many if you've got 500,000 people that have all put up $50 each to put into a tip pool to see this fight, you can sort of get an understanding that you could times that by 10 in terms of the pay-per-view, subscribers, right? Or give a good idea. So for fighters, they can say, well, I can fight, for Jake Paul, he could say, oh, I can fight another ex-NBA star, or I can fight another, washed up UFC star, or I can fight a boxer, and I'm going to have, 10 times the pay-per-views. People want to see that, and it can legitimize my standing as a boxer. right? So it's not just that oh, I've already got enough money, I don't need that impulse. It gives you an idea on how many people want to see it. The demand is there. If we sign up for this pay-per-view, we're going to make 10 times that revenue because the demand is there. So I'm just conscious of time, so we want to get to the good parts. Tell us about the raise. How much you're raising, what's it being used for, what's on offer, and what momentum you've had.
Sure. $2 million seed round. I think it's really reasonable valuation considering the opportunity, how far we are with traction. So what's it going to be used for? As I said, it's basically Vic and me, or Vic and I, and a couple people offshore supporting us with support, email support, and like in social media. We need to scale a team, right? We need an engineering team. I mean, you could use our platform. I think it's really awesome considering the resources, but we want to scale an engineering team to really accelerate product dev, kind of shore a few kind of items up. But we have a ton of functionality, a ton of integrations. But we want to just accelerate product dev and really ensure that our platform is, very scalable. Although we've scaled pretty far, anyways. Additionally, and probably more importantly, or equally important at least, is we need a kind of growth team. So marketers who have kind of expertise in the niches that we want to accelerate, capture. We already know many, right? We know people that we've worked with previously in our careers. We know some awesome marketers at like Essence Magazine or BuzzFeed who we've engaged already and kind of talked to, and they're like, yeah, I'd love to kind of support you on this. And those are their kind of actually, they may be contracting now. So like marketers, a growth team to go kind of capture these niches to appeal to them via campaigns, do influencer partnership deals, because sometimes you got to pay to play initially to kind of get the ball rolling, and then the maker network effect will kind of drive it and just help us snowball.
Social media managers. We need tons, because all of our following, whatever we do, is all driven by social media. So we're hoping to bring on just some savvy young social media gurus to come in and kind of help us with that, because that's a main driver. And then the other component, what we spoke about a little while ago, as far as the educational component, we have a lot of ideas and things that we're executing now, but we want to do them quicker and kind of ramp it up as far as how we're outreaching creators and explaining to them, one, the creators who are currently on our site. We have, a lot of creators that are already on our site, but then the creators that we're outreaching externally to really explain to them what's going on. And I think there's so much value in that, because once that light bulb clicks on, I think it's going to be just like whatever platform that kind of has stood there, that has some kind of integrity, that has, that a platform that they can call a home, that they can relate to. I think they will be the recipient of all of those that come when this happens, when this light bulb clicks on, that I can make money. I don't have to sit on IG all day and just get likes. I can get $1. And that's my phrase. It's like, don't get a like, get $1. It's once that happens, we want to put a lot of, yeah, thank you. We want to put a lot of backing behind that, because we think that that's just going to be instrumental.
Oh, for sure.
I think what you're doing is applicable on a global scale. And I mentioned this last time, that there are a lot of content creators, coming out of Asia and the Middle East and Africa, who are, creating content for a niche market that just doesn't have a home, doesn't have a way to monetize. There's a lot of people that I follow, given my background, and people that I like to watch, that are making really good content. They're struggling to monetize it, and they have a really good following, and it's growing, and they're connecting with people outside of their own home country. So I think what you're doing is beneficial and appealing on a global scale. I think, you know, we're just at the bottom of the hockey stick, as you'd say.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point, Chris, because it's interesting. So India doesn't have a platform. And we were able to onboard a mainstream actress in India. Her name's Krisan Barreto. So in India, music and movies kind of go together. So like musicians are all kind of movie stars at the same time. Krisan has 1 million followers on Instagram, and she's kind of a huge celebrity. And they just don't have a platform. And we've spoken to, like, you know, we have media backgrounds, again, worked like ESPN and Viacom. Anyways, we met a gentleman who's based in India he's with NBC Universal for years. And anyways, he was kind of looking at Tipsnaps like, oh, this is interesting because there just doesn't exist in India. So that's just like, to your point, Daniel, like there's these huge markets that just don't have a platform. And the fact that we could just get a mainstream actress with 1 million followers via DM to say, hey, create a Tipsnaps, and she's like promoting it. And if you go to her Linktree, it's her #1 item, and she's shooting like for a huge movie this month. Like, it just kind of shows the opportunity. They're kind of desperate for it, right?
And ironically, she even was trying to figure out how to monetize. Yeah. And she is very savvy, but we were like walking her through, like, this is what you do: add it to your link in your bio, reference it, you know, in the stories. Like, so even your most savvy mainstream kind of expert at this still needs, it's an educational component that's lacking.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to leave it there because we're about to run out of time. But thank you very much for jumping on with us. It was absolutely incredible to chat to you. Anybody who is watching this video, we'll put the details below the video. And if you want to get in touch with the guys, just let us, either Julie or myself, know, and we'll get you connected. But thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping on. I loved hearing about it, and I look forward to seeing big things.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. All righty. Bye-bye.